was interesting to see which ones come up first.
Who's faster?
What's faster? Well, welcome to everybody to Monday Night Live. I'm not sure what's going on here. I'm just going to pretend that was okay. Whatever I clicked away on Facebook. So those of you that are joining us, welcome to Monday Night Live with the lovely Kate Simmons.
Thank you.
I'm Dean Nixon out of sunny St. George, Utah. I'm going to try and back that up a little bit.
We're just adjusting some angles here.
You may have to back Kate up a little bit here. Instagram is always a hard one because we're on, what is it called? Portrait? Is that what that is?
It's the vertical.
And so it's hard. Like somebody's in, somebody's out. We have to lean in. So for those of you that watch our videos and see us sitting so closely, it's because we're trying to fit in
Instagram.
And,
you know, we're always
what a metaphor.
I know.
A metaphor.
We're always talking about how not to try to fit into social media. And here we are every Monday night, squished in like sardines.
Trying to fit into Instagram like everybody else. It's such a great metaphor.
I love it. Hi, Vicki. Love to see you too, sweetheart.
We're excited to be on tonight as we join you every Monday night on Monday Night Live.
The best night of the week.
There it is.
There it is.
And our goal is to always provide content that is both helpful, motivational, and tools that give you the ability to take them home, implement them into your lives, share them with those that you love. We come on at so many different, like depending on the time zone that you're in. Here in the Mountain Standard Time Zone, of course, we're at 5:30.
5:30?
As ish. 5:30-ish.
Just to be completely honest and transparent, like I like to be.
Yes.
It's because of me that we're the ish.
Well, there's sometimes it's me too.
It's my energy.
There's
it's
times.
Fine. I fully embrace my ish. 5:30-ish.
Ish. So tonight, topic-wise, it was asked that we take some time tonight. Is asked to talk about creating balance.
Yes. Oh, so we might as well say that too. If you have a topic that you would love for us to cover, let us know. Like we would love to hear all of your suggestions, or hey, I'm struggling in this in my life. That's what this platform is built for. So we got a question come in about how do I create balance in my life?
How do we create it? How do we bring more balance to our lives?
Yes.
And so we're excited to talk about that tonight. And as we're living in the busy world that we're in nowadays, it's so intriguing to me as I've been working with people this last couple of weeks. And I've been reflecting back. I don't know why. Maybe it's because the universe was preparing me for this topic. I don't know. But it's so intriguing to me how quick and how fast the world is moving as compared to when I was younger. Mm-hmm. And I look back at how the world moved, and you'd come home from work. There weren't all the social media platforms. There weren't all these other things going on. Most people were usually home between 5:30 to 7:30 at night. Mm-hmm. The family was sitting down having dinner, maybe watch a TV show, most of the time homework and reading or whatever it was, and then it was off to bed.
Right.
And so the world has changed so dramatically in just my lifetime, where now there's people on their phones and on social media platforms, and there's people are getting home from work at 8, 9 o'clock at night. It's just a different, more of a fast-paced life than we've ever been in before. And we have access to more information. We have access to more stressful processes and information. Mm-hmm. As we talked in other webisodes about how much more we're so globally connected nowadays, where things that when I was a kid, they happen in Russia, we wouldn't hear about them for 3 or 4 days. Nowadays, it's live streaming.
Right.
And so it's just a different way and a different place. So creating balance is become more and more necessary than ever before.
I agree. And I think there's lots of things that pull us out of balance. And it's easy to kind of go into that space of like all of the like have tos or the different areas of life that like really pull us. But also there's some really like sometimes for me, like just wanting to do a million fun things can pull me out of balance.
Right.
So it's not necessarily being bogged down in the weight of the world that oftentimes can pull us out of balance. It's when you're out of balance, you're out of balance.
Right. And it can be, we know there's physical things that are pulling us out of balance as well nowadays.
Absolutely.
And I know that as we recognize how much food and nutrition has changed significantly as well. And through the years, if we study the evolution of even our diet as Americans, not even the diets of those of you that are watching in other countries. And I know we've got a few viewers over in Europe.
We're global.
We're global, but as we get the changes of our diets and the changes of what it is that is accessible to us, and that was another thing that I was really hit with and struck with today, was the power of our welfare system here in America and how blessed and lucky we are. And then I started thinking about what the welfare system looked like when I was a kid compared to the welfare system of today. And it's really grown to the point where there are less people that need to be hungry than there used to be. But yet there are still people that are hungry. Yeah. That's another soapbox I don't want to get on. But
that's a different live.
That's a different live. But the point being is that our diets have changed, accessibility to food has changed, and in some ways our nutrition is getting worse because of these access to unhealthy things, and nutrition is just quicker and easier and faster.
Access and addiction. I mean, let's just talk about this for a hot second, right? Okay. And let's talk about food. I'm not even talking about it with substances, right? Although all addiction is addiction. We're just gonna send that person right to voicemail. I'm on like a really beautiful journey at the moment to create more balance inside of my body, my physical body. And I'm working really hard with Ryan, and it's Inside Out Hyperbaric. Shout out to Ryan. I can see he's over here on the Facebook. And when we were talking about maybe some of the symptoms that I was having, I was like, oh no, I feel like most of the time I feel pretty good. And he's like, Kate, you probably don't even know what it feels like to feel good. And I was like, that kind of rocked my noggin for a minute. Like, well, potentially that's correct, that when you live in a state of out of balance for so long, it sometimes starts to feel like the normal. Right. And the normal way that life moves, or that you would maybe perceive yourself as being in balance when really you're quite out of balance. Right. And so I'll keep you posted on how things are going. I'm on day 3 with no sugar and no caffeine. And if you're wondering if my head is on fire, the answer is yes. Yes, it is. In the attempt to get balance back into my physical body. Oh, I love that you're bringing that out, because that is such a challenge for us, especially as we work to pull ourselves into balance. Yes. Sometimes we need to create, patience with ourselves. Yeah. And we've got to, people in our lives can see what's going on and be there for you and support you. But sometimes you got to be there for yourself too. My gosh. So high five to you, Kate. Thanks. Super happy for you. And I think that's really cool, Dean, that you bring that in, because when you're on the quest to create more balance in your world, in your life, and all things around you, goodness gracious, please look in the mirror and give that human so much grace and love, because good on ya for taking the bull by the horns and really creating life the way that you want it to be. And like what I'm going through at the moment, there's going to be a lot of discomfort. It has literally rocked my world at 12:30 this morning when I woke up. And for those of you that suffer from chronic migraines, oh my gosh, I love you so much, because I had the worst headache of my life last night coming out of this cleansing thing that I've got going on with my sugars. And I can't even imagine having that as a normal part of my existence. And I know there's lots of people that live with that. So please, in this balance discovery, find that love and grace for you, and patience for sure. Absolutely. And when we're talking about balance and creating balance, one of the key pieces in creating balance in our lives is the coping skill of acceptance. Mm-hmm. And we really have to create acceptance in our lives in the sense of no expectations. And we have to be able to allow whatever is evolving into our lives to come into our lives without judgment. And this is what I'm talking about. That. When I say no expectation, the absence of expectations, what I'm talking about is that there's no judgment placed
on what's coming at us.
Mm-hmm.
And really, to create balance, we have to remove this idea of judging everything and immediately throwing it into a bucket of either good or bad, right or wrong. We have to really step back, and as it flows into our lives, we have to look at it and we have to embrace it and recognize that this is a moment that's very unique. Now, people, pay attention to me. This is a moment that is very unique. In other words, the moment that you're in right now is never going to happen again.
Mm-hmm.
And the only way it's going to happen again is when you try to relive it a million times to try and figure out what happened, and you're going to waste the energy, because the reality is it's gone. So like that's like digging through the trash trying to figure out what you had for dinner last night. It just, what's the point?
Right.
What you're going to find is old, stale, irrelevant, and rotten.
Mm-hmm.
So really, we have to take the moment that we're in. We've got to bring it into our lives without judging it right or wrong, good or bad. We just have to take it, bring it in, and we have to recognize it for what it is, an experience. The only thing that we can determine now is what type of experience we want it to be. So it's either going to fall into the category of an experience where I'm learning something from it, I'm experiencing something I need to learn. Is it experience that is just meant for me to really become more connected to life?
Mm-hmm.
Or is it an experience that is meant to move me forward? And everything else that we use to try and quantify that moment is very fear-based,
Mm-hmm.
because everything else is just a reaction to the experience coming at you.
Right.
You know, it's this reaction, and your reactions, the only reason you react is because you've been hurt.
Yeah.
And you don't want to get hurt again.
Mm-hmm.
So you start trying to control or predict all the pieces of information that come at you,
Mm-hmm.
and you try to control them. That's like being hit with a fire hose and trying to control every drop and trying to qualify every drop of water and trying to put every drop of water somewhere that makes sense and not get hurt.
Right.
And that's just not going to work.
What movie is that when the kid wins a hit from the fire hose? Do you remember that? You've won a hit from the fire hose. Like,
I don't. You'll have to.
Somebody help me.
Oh, but anybody out there that knows,
it's an Adam Sandler movie. I'm pretty sure.
Put them in the comment.
Right, because it's impossible to do that. Right.
Correct.
The fire hose experience is just full on experience. That's all that there is to it. I love that you're bringing in this alignment with life piece, because we have been in my my women's empowerment group every Wednesday night. We've been in the flow of getting in aligned with life for all of February. That's been our theme this month, and particularly now, kind of looking at it through that lens of balance, is I love exactly what you said. Like, what is this moment bringing to me?
Right.
Because sometimes life just brings us these amazing opportunities that we may need to grab onto. I'm thinking like jobs, right? Like if you're in a job situation, you may get a new opportunity to have maybe another job, like maybe a side gig for a little while. And so it tends to maybe feel like it's pulled you out of balance as you've got this new thing that you're juggling.
Right.
However, if you can learn that acceptance piece, like Dean was just talking about, and really surrender to the flow of that, like you're going to work it out. You're going to find the balance in it, and what needs to give away if you have the courage to let go. I think that's another huge piece when it comes to balance, is sometimes we're so afraid to let go of what we already have without really knowing all of the pieces for what's coming to us.
Oh, that is probably the greatest challenge we have as human beings, is the inability to move from one piece to another piece because we're afraid of what we're going to lose,
right,
rather than really focusing on what it is that we're trying to create.
Mm-hmm.
And this is so interesting to me, because I watch people in life, especially when you acquire something. So I'll see people that will acquire talents or information or money.
Mm-hmm.
And the interesting thing about it is how much more tight they become with all of it, because they're afraid that they're going to lose it. And so sometimes we sit on one side of the emotional poverty or the mental poverty or the physical poverty of life, And then we sit on the other side of it and have this this not abundance, but this wealth of
very fluid,
emotional or physical or emotional or mental wealth. And we kind of, both sides tend to cling, because on the poverty side, we're afraid of when we're ever going to get it again. On the rich side of it, we're afraid of losing what we've gained. But if we really just steer down the middle of that abundance part of it and recognize that we are in the flow of things, embrace it as it comes, let it wash over you like a river, embrace it, allow that experience to give you what it's going to give you instead of trying to grab every drop.
Right.
But then we find this abundance, we find this peace, we find that balance that we're really looking for.
Yeah, I absolutely love that. And once again, because we talk about this a lot in that idea of anything that's going to pull us to either places is a place to take a look at. And like you so eloquently said in the beginning, without judgment, right? Like if you know that if you have a tendency to kind of hold over here in scarcity and really hang on to that and not really want to let it go, then let's take a look at that. Let's figure out how we can maybe loosen the grip a little bit and come a little bit more to the middle. Or if you're over here on the other side, the same story is the same, right? And you mentioned some very physical things, but in relationships, this, holy cow, the letting go of people and their choices and how they choose to navigate their life and how that works in between us and all of those things we get into can really pull us out of balance in that just that fear entrapment of having to hold on so tightly.
It is intriguing as we look at the different aspects of the human or humanity, and we look at how we are drawn towards certain aspects of who we are. In some ways, we're very drawn towards the physical side and controlling the physical side. Sometimes we're driven towards the familial side and really controlling our children or the people, or maybe we're driven towards work, or we're driven towards these different aspects of life. And the thing that's intriguing to me is these are all just ways for us to experience life. They are not life. And that's a part that's the biggest challenge for us as human beings, is we get so caught up in believing that that's life. We believe that work is our life, or family is our life, or these relationships are our life, but they aren't. All those things is they're contact points that give us the ability to experience life. So when we get so hunkered in or so overly connected to that one aspect of who we are, thinking that that's what life is, then we become out of balance. So you'll see a parent, for example, who will pour their whole life into their children, and then their children move on and they create their own lives. And now the parent's out of balance. The parent doesn't know who they are. They don't know what they enjoy in life. They don't know what they want in life. They don't even know what brings them happiness. They only know what brings everybody else happiness. Right. And that's, again, the quickest way to get out of balance. And these are all just ways that we experience life. And we have to step back and look at them just like anything else. Like this portal that you're watching us through is just a way to experience life. And everything else is just a portal you're looking through. You cannot become overly attached to every portal that you look through. You have to be willing to move around and experience and interact with all the different portals of your life in order to really become balanced.
Absolutely. So can we move into maybe another piece of balance that when we had the topic introduced to us was just kind of where my brain went really quick, because I'd love to get your perspective on it too, which we talk about this topic often. I feel like one of the greatest ways to get back in alignment or back in balance within yourself is to look at those places where you need to set some more healthy boundaries.
Right. Yeah.
Because when we either are pulled out of our boundaries or create walls or barriers and don't have a lot of like fluidity, there is oftentimes where I find in my experience when I feel the most out of balance. And then when I can put in good, healthy boundaries and really stick to my guns is when I feel like I'm more in balance in my center and my world.
Right.
So it wouldn't even really matter all of the different things that I have going on around me because I feel centered and balanced.
Right. And so that boundary piece is what you're talking about.
Like how to implement more boundaries, or look at maybe the places where you need to implement boundaries. Maybe you have none, or you have too many. Maybe I don't know if you can have too many or unhealthy boundaries.
Well,
right?
You can have too many, yeah.
And
then it becomes unhealthy. It's just like
and
with
unmanageable,
anything.
really.
If you put 10 mouse traps in a room, you're less likely to catch a mouse than if you put one mouse trap in a room.
Mm.
So it's that idea with boundaries too, is that the more boundaries you have around a specific thing, the more it conflicts and it becomes, and they're no longer boundaries. But the point being is the first way to really set those boundaries is, number one, and most importantly, is to determine what it is that you want to create.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the second thing that we can do is we can start to figure out where the issue is. What is the issue? People can't be issues.
Right.
So what is the issue?
Right. Where's the imbalance coming from?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
The third piece is creating a solution to that. How do I create a solution? What is the solution to this issue? And then set up lastly, fourth is to set up a structure or a system to hold yourself and your feet to the fire,
mm-hmm.
and to hold yourself accountable. And there's more to it. There's a couple more pieces that obviously we're over, but feel free to contact us if you're, we've got the steps, we've got the processes, just let us know. We'll make sure you get them.
Right, absolutely. And one of the things on Friday, just for funsies, Dean spoke at a networking gathering with a company here in town that's called Allies, and he spoke about why
creating
is it
control
slipping
and
from
chaos.
my brain? Right, creating control and chaos. And one of the things that I really loved that you said was, when looking for accountability pieces, you can't have those people that are most close to you be your accountability buddies, because then your life partners. Your life partners, yeah. And I would even say like for my sister, she's a pretty good accountability buddy, but we live together, we work together. It's a better fit to have somebody else be my accountability buddy, right? Yeah. And we can love and support each other through stuff and be there for each other. And I really loved that, because it brings an imbalance in the relationship to those that you're closest to. And so in looking for that accountability piece, you guys know we're here, we're available. We'd love to be that piece for you. But if you're looking to create that in your own little environment there, don't have your life partner step up to that plate. I like how you said that last week.
Yeah, it's pretty unhealthy. I've never seen that work out very well.
Yeah. And I just need to say thank you, Justin, over here. It's UHF with Weird Al, the drink from the fire hose. Somebody came through with the movie.
There it is.
Of course it was Justin. He is an aficionado with cinema. Well, we love you guys. Thank you so, so much for joining us, as always, on Monday Night Live. Take these topics to your dinner table, to your water cooler, like and share. We really appreciate it. It helps us be able to spread our message and share the love as far and as wide as we possibly can. We are grateful for you. We love you. And we hope you have a wonderful week. We will see you next Monday Night Live.
Awesome. Thank you, everybody.
Bye.